transformation for IBM customer across the globe. She draws best practices from variety of methodologies and frameworks. She is passionate IBM PMCOE volunteer in supporting various project management activities and active volunteer for PMI from 2007. She holds number of internal and external certifications and is currently part of the LIMC program from PMI. She is also part of the board of directors of PMI Mumbai chapter. Today, she will enlighten us on the topic Women in Servant Leadership. Welcome, Falguni.
Thank you so much, Bhakti. It was really a great and long introduction. Thank you so much. So, good morning, everyone. And thank you so much, WIA, for giving me this opportunity here to speak to you all. Okay, so let me share my screen and then we'll go from there. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Falguni, we are.
Okay, great. So, thank you so much, team. Again, welcome here. So today's my topic is on servant leadership. Now we all know that how difficult it is to practice servant leadership in real life, right? But if you read my topic, you must be wondering why I am saying it is a game changer for us. What is that specific in us that makes us the differentiator? And that is what I want to talk about here. I'm not going to talk about what is servant leadership, but I'm going to help you out to identify the qualities which we already have in it. It's just that how do we identify them and how do we tap on it in order to make us a great servant leader? Okay, that is the aim of this presentation. So with that, let me start my presentation. So let's see what kind of a behavior we would like to see in a servant leader. So servant leader is the one who focuses on the growth and a well-being of our employee, right? Which can help us to get a better satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and the business results. But some of the leader feels that when they implement or they practice the servant leadership, they feel that they do not have control on the decision making, or all the decisions which we make in the organization needs to have the consensus. But that is not completely true, right? What as a leader, what we want to do is we want to provide the platform and the environment to our team in such a way that they can make a local decision. We want to have the vision and the business goal to come from the top, and the team has to create its own goal which is in alignment with this vision and a business goal. So there is a critical aspect of a servant leader which we would like to see is that the leader must listen a lot rather than speaking. That means they must allow their team member to speak, and that is the one thing which helps the leader to better understand their team members' need. And when they are in need or they need any kind of a support, the leaders are in a better position to help them. Now, if you relate all this behavior, this all goes or be directly related to our first agile principle, which talks about individual and interaction over processes and tool, right? We all understand this values very well, that as a leader we must focus on the employee or our team member rather than thinking about what kind of a process I'm going to implement in our project, or whether I'm going to get a best tool available in the market, how do I get that implemented in my project, rather than just think about how I'm going to take care of my employee, what kind of opportunity I'm going to provide to my team member so that they can flourish. Okay, so let's see, where do we start this servant leadership? We can start servant leadership from our home itself. As we know that the pure, true and unconditional support which we can get from only one person, and that is no one other than our mother, right? She is the one who is working day and day out and supporting their family. Her aim is just to make sure that her family members are safe and they are happy and they are successful, right? For that, whatever is required, she's ready to do in any circumstances without thinking about herself. Many times what happens, we do not believe in our capability, or we do not believe on our dream, but she is the one who believes on it, and she supports like a pillar, and she makes sure that we are successful in it, right? So now just think about, just to get this quality, just to become this kind of a servant leader, did she go to any university? Did she do any certification? Did she give any exam? No, right? Then how did she become such a super, we should not say super mom, but she's a great leader, right? So how did she become? So there are some qualities which each and every one of us has in it. It is just that how do we identify it, and how do we tap on it to practice on a daily basis. And once we start that, there is no way for us to stop on that journey. We will become a great servant leader, and that is what we are going to see now here. Okay, let's talk about another role model. As per the servant leadership theory, a great role model is none other than Mother Teresa. You must have heard about her a lot. She is the one who had a comfortable life, but she gave up that life and she started the charity work. She started supporting a needy and a poor people without thinking about herself. You must have read that how she was supporting everyone. Now, do you think that she was asking everyone to join her organization and supporting this cause? No, she did not ask anyone to support her, but the culture and the environment she created in such a way that thousands of volunteers got associated with her. And now today also the people are working for her charity organization and following her footprint. That means even though she is not there, people are still living her dream. And that is how we need to create the culture and the environment. Now, if we think that, okay, can we become a good servant leader only at home or in a social platform? No. You name the sector, and we can find a woman who has practiced the servant leadership, and that's why they have excelled in that field. Okay, you name the field, say, take the example of politics. We have a New Zealand Prime Minister, right? Jacinda Ardern. Now, she is a great servant leader. You name in the field of author and philanthropist, Sudha Murthy. Let's take an example of corporate world, the Indra Nui. She is the one great servant leader. Under her leadership, the PepsiCo has made great progress, right? So, what is the, why they are differentiator? Just because they were able to identify these qualities of servant leader, and they were able to practice this. They were able to execute that whenever they were in the their job. So let's see how we can identify those qualities, and how do we make a difference in our work. Okay, so first let's see about few examples. How do we practice the servant leadership in corporate world? So there are few books which I really liked about it, and that's why I thought I should talk about it before I go and talk about the qualities of servant leadership. Okay, so the first book is it says Employees First, Customer Second, a great book which is written by Vineet Nair. This book talks about extremely well that how do a servant leader should behave. We always hear in our corporate world that customer is our focus, right? So we should keep customer first. Whatever we do, we need to make sure that we are working towards customer need, towards customer satisfaction. But did we ever realize that who is serving our customer? This is nothing but, or no other than our employee, our team member. So as a leader, it is our responsibility that how do we take care of our employee, our team member, so that they can take care of our customer. That's on a similar line. There is a great quote given by Richard Branson. He talks about clients do not come first. Employee come first. If you take care of your employee, they will take care of your client, right? So on the same note, there is another great book which is written by Simon Sinek. The title says Leaders Eat Last. What does this title mean? Okay, let me give you one example from the mother itself. Now, if there is some food is there in our house, what do mother do? she makes sure that that food gets distributed to each and every family member, and whatever is left or the remaining, that she eats. She always makes sure that she serves her family member first, and then she thinks about herself. Take the same scenario in the corporate world. Do our leader think in this line? Do they think that, okay, I need to make sure that my team is doing better, or what is there which I need to do for my team before they are thinking about their promotion, their growth, or any other way? So if they are doing on this line, then they are the great leader. Let's take one example. We'll say in one scenario where there is open firing started, okay, and in that location one mother and daughter is there. In this situation, what do you think? How do mother will react? She immediately, she will cover her daughter without thinking about herself, right? Think about the same situation in the corporate world. If we have some kind of a firefighting in our project, or some kind of a risk in our project, is our leader is covering our team? Is he there to support the team before thinking about himself, what kind of impact he is going to have? If he is doing that, then he is a great servant leader, and that is what we should be practicing. We all are aware about it, but somehow we are not able to practice it, and that is what we should start in order to become a great servant leader and a successful in our endeavor, right? With that, let me give you one scenario. Now, this scenario is not a hypothetical scenario. It is a real life scenario. And I think most of you must have experienced this scenario once in a while in your work life. So this is a scenario where a team is working very hard. We have a one team member who is not able to perform well. He is not able to deliver his whatever assigned work. He's not able to meet the deadline, and somehow he's not able to work with the team also. So the entire team is frustrated, and team feels that because he is not able to deliver the work, we are suffering because it is giving impact on our team's result, right? So they started complaining to their leaders. Then they are started thinking about that, what do we do so that we have a better result as a team, we are able to deliver a better result. So here are the four options which I would like to give you on poll. If you can all give the answer for that poll, I think that would be the great. So Madhvi, would you like to launch the poll?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Tim, here is on your screen, you should be able to see the four option, the scenario I have explained. So based on that, what do you think? Don't think about the in terms of theory. Think in a real situation. As a leader, what will you do? Okay. So just 45% people have given the answer. Okay. Yes. People are thinking a lot. Okay. Okay, few more seconds. Okay, the last 1 second. Anyone want to give the answer? Okay, and let me close the poll. Okay, and I'll share the result. Okay, you should be able to see the result. And I think, yeah, everyone are able to select the answer C, right? But if you see in a real life, do we really think about this? Do we really practice this? Most of the time, what happens, because this is the scenario from my project itself at my client place. And what happens is, first thing what we do is, no, this person is not able to cope up with the work. He's not delivering and he's not working up to the mark. Let's release him. That is the first thing we think, right? Then the second thing is, okay, let's ask somebody, okay, can you help him so that he can finish his work? That is the other thing we do. But we don't think about that what is there that is causing him not to perform. Like, just think about it, that do you think any employee or any resource who comes for the work will come with that intention that I don't want to deliver something, or I want to perform poor, or I don't want to meet deadline, right? Nobody comes with that intention. Everyone comes with the intention that they want to do the best under given circumstances with his or her skills and the capability, right? So as a leader, we need to understand that, and then we need to make a decision. So here we have to make sure that we find the place which is comfortable for the resource and have that kind of a discussion. Identify what is going on with him. Is he comfortable working with the team? Is he having any kind of a issue in his personal life that is bothering him? Is he having a skill gap? So those kind of a thing, or the analysis we must do before we make any kind of a decision, and that is the true or the critical factor for the great servant leader. Okay, so with that, let's go and see what kind of dynamic qualities we need to focus on to become a servant leader. So there are six qualities which I feel that we all have it. Some of the qualities we do practice, and some of the qualities we do have, but we really have to focus on it. So the first one is coach, second is safety net, third is humble, then the celebration, transparent, and the motivator, right? So let's go ahead and see each of them and see what can we do in order to practice these qualities. The first one, coach. Okay, this is the one critical qualities which each leader must have, because see, if the team needs to achieve some result, they really need some kind of a guidance, right? They need coach so that they can perform better in the adaptive environment. Here is the example of Helena Costa, who became the first woman coach for a men's professional soccer team. Just imagine, it is a successful soccer team, and for that she became the coach. That means definitely she has that quality which can help the team to outperform, right? And for that we have a great quote that things do not happen, things are made to happen. It will not just going to happen, right? Somebody has to be there, somebody has to support our team, then only we will be able to make the difference, right? Okay, the second is the safety net. Now this quality is, we as a woman always some or the other way we practice it, knowingly or unknowingly, we don't know, but this has a major impact when you practice this in your corporate world. Like, we as a leader need to provide that kind of a cushion and the support to our team. We have to make sure that we create the environment which is a fearless. It should not come in their mind that if I fail, what will happen. If they have that kind of a thinking in their mind, they will never be able to do any kind of a innovation, or they will never be able to try anything new. So that's the reason we need to, as a leader, we need to provide that kind of a protection to our team, and that is where they will excel and provide the better result. So the quote says that safety isn't expensive, it's a priceless, right? The another one is a humble. Now this one everyone knows about it, but to practice this, it takes a lot of courage and effort. We all know that we want to do everything, but as a human being, we cannot be master in each field. So we have to admit, we have to accept that in some area we are not expert, in some area we are expert. So if you don't know anything, you just say I don't know, it is perfectly fine, right? Or if you have made a mistake, there is no harm in accepting the mistake. Even as a leader, if you practice this, to say I don't know something, or to say that yes, I have made a mistake, you will definitely see that that culture gets inculcated in our team's behavior, right? Whenever we are having any kind of a conversation with our team member, we should always be considerate, because that is the one which helps them to improve their behavior. Okay, and that's why the courage is grace under pressure. Okay, okay, the next one is celebration, right? We all are very good in celebrating one or the other event at home or with our friends and everywhere. But do we do a similar kind of a thing in our corporate world? No, right? Most of the time we miss that. A small or a big achievement, we have to make sure that we allow team to get that breathing period, allow them to have the pride of achievement, because it is their hard work. And that's why even a small thing, if they have achieved anything, allow them to celebrate, because that is the one which is going to energize them, that is the one which is going to motivate them. On the other side, if team fails to do something or they do not achieve some goal, no problem. As a leader, we need to own that failure and then identify the learning, have the discussion with the team, and see that as a team, what we are coming up with the improvement step and what we are going to add for our future iteration or the future work, what kind of a improvement we can bring in. And that is how we need to celebrate each and every the achievement or even the failure. Okay, so the great quote says that the diamonds are nothing more than a chunk of coals that stuck to the job, right? The another quality it talks about is transparency, right? Transparent. It is very important that how we become a transparent with our team. Most of the leader feel that no, it is not necessary to share everything with our team. Okay, we are even not ready to receive the feedback from our team member or from our peer, and that is not how we should be behaving as a leader. We would like to receive the feedback, and the feedback should be 360-degree. Okay, not only from our upper leader or from the colleague. We must take feedback from everyone. Also, we should share all the detail with the team about the project, so that they know when you are asking something team to do, they are very clear why you are asking particular thing or why you are expecting them to do in such a way. And that brings the clarity for them how they can work towards it. Okay, so the another quote which talks about this transparency is, it takes a lot of courage to show your dreams to someone else. And the last quality is the motivator. Now, do you think we don't practice this one? We do practice, right? At home and at most of the places. The same thing we have to implement with our team. Whenever our team is in need, like they are not very energized or they have some kind of a failure, make sure that you motivate them. Make sure that you show them their true qualities. We have to accept each human being is a different, each team members are different, right? They have some pros and cons. We have to accept that, and we have to make sure that how we can identify the strengths of our team member and respect the limitations. And that is how you need to motivate each your team member, and once you do that, you will have a great result from your team member. So when we say nothing is impossible, that word itself talks about I am possible, right? Okay, so with that, I would like to say that if we start practicing this qualities, okay, and if you do day in, day out, this all qualities, you will build your muscle memory. And once you build that, no one will stop you from becoming a great servant leader. Okay, with that, I am going to end my presentation and I'm open for the questions.
Thank you, Falguni. We are really glad to have you as a speaker today, especially on Mother's Day on this topic. And this really demonstrates, right, how empowered women empower other women, right? I also recollect this quote when I was reading all quotes from your slides. I was able to recollect this quote, you don't have to be great to serve, but you have to serve to be great. So, I mean, all the quotes which I read today, after seeing this, I just came to my mind. And yeah, no matter where we are in life, I'm sure we all shall continue to inspire and empower the women around us, and not just women, anyone around us, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Falguni. Again, let me see if there is any questions for you. Okay. There are not much questions. Everyone seems to be sharing the same view as mine. We are all very happy with the topic here. And there is this question from Subina on can we have this presentation slide? Subina, we would get back to you on this later after this discussion. Yeah. So yeah, that's it, Falguni. I think no questions.
Yeah, I guess, guys, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask questions. And Falguni, this is awesome. Yeah, I mean, and I have a question for you. I mean, in agile world, we often talk about servant leadership and all that, but usually it is often see that if your manager is a lady, a boss, okay, so have you faced any challenges in terms of like, if I can do it, why can't you manage your time being another lady? So have you faced this kind of challenges in your
Yeah,
whole experience?
definitely I'll share, and I do have a personal experience of this kind of a scenario. And that is before I give the answer, I just would like to share here on this Mother's Day as well as on Women in Agile conference, right? We as a woman need to respect other women. Like, we should make sure that we support each other rather than pulling or not helping each other, right? If you have some kind of expertise, if you have some kind of a knowledge, please share that, and please make sure that other people are also bringing up, like, you have to try your best that you are bringing other women into a leadership position, and that is what we want to see. If we all practice this, I don't think so even Madhvi, whatever the question you have asked will exist that, right? So it is just that how we support each other, that is a key. Because each and every woman, you just try and see in any sector you speak or in any life, wherever you see, you will experience and you will see that there are number of women who are a great leader. And why did they become a great leader? It is just because they did not start thinking about themselves. They just started to think about how do I serve the community, how do I serve the people, right? And that is the differentiator, because we as a woman have a great ability to serve the people who are around us, and that makes us differentiate.
Yeah, I mean, instead of being a competitors, we can be supporters of each others. Yeah, so
Absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
I asked you this question because usually when I talk with my clients or with my colleagues, they say, "Oh, I don't prefer lady boss." Okay, so I mean, yeah, so that's the thing. And when you just go further and ask them, like, "What's the issue about it?" They said, "Yeah, I mean, it's like comparing. When I can do it, I can be the best. Why can't you be?" Yeah. So
Right.
thanks, Falguni, for that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys, for Falguni?
Yeah, we do have a question from Amol on what are the challenges you have observed for servant leadership?
Okay, great question. There are a number of challenges which we face, not even a one single, because we are now the scenario has changed, but earlier it was really a male dominated, right? When we talk about our corporate world specifically. So what kind of a challenges, if you ask me, there are a number of challenges. We need to, at each and every point, we have to prove ourselves as compared to our male competitor, right? Even if we have a expertise, it's like, okay, you prove it, you do that work, and then only everyone is going to think that yes, you deserve this role or you can do something. So there are number of challenges comes in our way, but only thing what we have to do is we have to believe in ourselves and we have to work harder. Yes, I agree that as a woman we have to put 50% more effort than anyone else in order to prove ourselves that we are the best.
Agree on that, Falguni. And is there any questions or anything you want to share with Falguni? Just feel free to unmute yourself as well to talk. Okay. I think we are good. All are very happy here, and yeah, there is. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it. Thanks, Falguni. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.